So our next concept here is actually going to be about sound patterns in poetry, particularly focusing this moment on rhyme. Now, two basic concepts you have to get here are that a poem is any piece of literature that usually has meter, which is like a beat, rhyme, which is those matching word sounds, and a stanza structure, okay, which we'll get to later. Right now, you also have to know that a line in a poem is a single row of written words, okay? That is in a short poem like the classic roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. That roses are red, first line. Very short, but it's totally lined by itself. Violets are blue, second line. Sugar is sweet, third line. So are you, fourth line. Those are all lines. It's a single row of written words. Now, rhyme itself is defined as the last syllable sounding the same in two or more words. So words like cat and hat. Dr. Seuss was big on rhyme, by the way. Dog and log, or bog, or hog, or frog. Batter and hatter. Corrupt and erupt. Sneak and peek. Sneeze and cheese, like if you sneeze on my cheese, that's rhyming and gross all at the same time. There's also this thing called off-rhyme, okay, which people often use in poetry when they can't quite make something fit or they want it to sound vaguely discordant or not quite lined up properly. And off-rhyme is when the sounds at the end of the words are similar. They're not exactly like batter and hatter or cat and hat or dog and log. They're more like fit and met, where the consonant is the same, but the vowel is shifted so it changes the sound. Or different consonants as well, like fast and ask. Okay? T and the K are similar sounding. They match for off-rhyme, but not actually true rhyme. Or swear and fire. Okay? Those ones, again, are off-rhyme. They're very close, but not quite the same. And lop and bob, maybe, if you have a lop bunny that is bobbing around the house, lop and bob are both off-rhyme. They're very similar, that P and that B. Similar sounds, but not exact, that's off-rhyme. So rhyme is when the last syllable sounds the same in two or more words. Rhyme scheme is the way the rhymes are organized in a poem, within a stanza being the term we use for a chunk of words or a chunk of lines in a poem, like a paragraph in regular written text or a verse in a song. A stanza has rhymes organized inside of it. All right? The most common form of rhyme these days, or ever for that matter really, is end rhyme. End rhyme is when the last word or words of the line rhyme. So for example, in that good old classic of poems, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. You have yourself 4 words at the end each here, okay? And we're figuring out the end rhyme for this poem. And rhyme scheme is shown and organized with lowercase letters. What this means is that the first line of every stanza is always identified as an A line. And then any other line following that in that stanza that matches and rhymes with that first line is also an A line. So you check the rest of the stanza for anything that rhymes with red. Blue, sweet, you, nope, we have no more A lines. Because the next line is a B line. Again, check the remaining lines, anything that matches. Blue, sweet, you. You rhymes with blue, therefore you is also a B line. Leaving our final line here to be a C line. So roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, so are you. This is an A, B, C, B rhyme scheme poem. And it's just written out just like that in lowercase letters. A, B, C, B is the rhyme scheme of this short little poem. Now, a little more fancy or organized or impressive, classic, whatever word you want to use for it, poetry. The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. The first stanza of that goes, he clasps the crag with crooked hands. The first word is going to be hands, is the ending sound. Close to the sun in lonely lands. Ringed with the azure world he stands. So the 3 lines we have here end with the words hands, lands, and stands, and you can tell these all rhyme. So the rhyme scheme here, again, the first line is an A line, always. You check to see if any other lines in that stanza match, and lo and behold, they all do. So this is, in fact, an A rhyme scheme poem, because he clasps the crag with crooked hands, close to the sun in lonely lands, ringed with the azure world he stands. Each line ends with the same rhyming sound, therefore they all match. There's also what's called internal rhyme, which is more archaic and I don't really get into. I just wanted to share it with you. Internal rhyme is when the middle of a line rhymes with the end. It was often done in ballads, which is more like singing songs, versions of poems. And it was done to sort of keep your verses better organized and sound more catchy, because there was rhyme happening more frequently, and it made people sort of follow along better. But we have ourselves rhyme scheme sorted by lowercase letters. And by the way, it resets every time you have a new stanza. Every new verse, you go back to A again. And if you happen to have a ridiculously long poem, it's all one giant stanza, and for whatever reason, it never ever rhymes, your rhyme scheme is going to end up being something like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and just keeps on going from there, okay? At that point, if it doesn't rhyme at all, you just end up saying there is no rhyme scheme to it, all right? Don't bother wasting your time filling out a long, long chart of how it all doesn't rhyme at all. If it's very clear that this was done in a way that was not intended to rhyme, you simply say that there is no rhyme scheme. And that will solve you a whole mess of problems, and you can show this by just pointing at the ends and saying, look, none of them match. Maybe 3 or 4 do by accident, and it doesn't matter. So that's rhyme. Basic, straightforward. You have yourself rhyme, which means the last syllable sounds the same. You have off rhyme, which is where they're similar sounds rather than identical. You have rhyme scheme, which is the way the rhymes are organized, shown with lowercase letters. And end rhyme is the most common form, the one we usually talk about in school. And that is where the last words of the lines rhyme with other lines. Any questions?